ultimate fear buster. One of the first things I want to start out with is, as Reverend Elizabeth said, that fear is a human emotion. So when we think about emotion, it's energy in motion. That is how we define, right? Emotion. We are energetic beings and we live a multi-dimensional life in this human experience. We emit different energies based on certain human experiences. We have the conscious energy that dominates our beingness. And this is the response that comes forth from our being automatically when certain things happen. So what is in the subconscious that causes us to respond in a certain way? Do we live from a place of fear? Well, our society teaches us fear. If you turn on the news, what do you see? Fear being given to us, spoon-fed to us. In some of the traditional teachings, fear is a part of the teachings. To fear God, to fear others that are not like you, that don't believe what you believe. There are governments that want people to fear them. Unfortunately, that's a part of what's happening in between Russia and Ukraine. Fear is being used to power over another government. I'd say this is one of our biggest problems in society today, is using fear, that energy, that emotion to interact, which is not working as order for us to live the life that we truly can live. We must begin to see each other individually as human and spiritual beings. We must not allow fear to overcome the spirit of love that is within all of us. So in the reading, it spoke to how our thoughts can really overtake and seep into our mind. So the question begins, what thoughts are we giving power to? Are we thinking from a place of fear and giving that power? Or are we thinking from a place of love and giving that the power? Most of us have heard the acronym as it relates to fear, which is false evidence appearing real. That's the acronym for fear. Well, if we think about the false beliefs appearing real, then guess what? That is a practical way for us to know that if it's appearing real, it's false evidence appearing real, it gives me a practical way to look at the appearance from a different perspective. These are false beliefs, and that fear itself is what we're giving power to. And this is what has a tendency to seep into our subconscious and then becomes that automatic response. Fear is that false belief in duality, that false belief in two powers. This is a belief that there may be a power that is opposed to God, whose influence can attract evil to us. This is what our society wants to teach us. But we know those spiritual beings of us who acknowledge that God is love and I am a spiritual being, therefore I am love. There is not something outside of me, that within me is the power of the divine. Sometimes we want to blame things externally that cause us to feel what we feel, when in reality, we're missing an opportunity to improve the relationship we have with ourselves, and therefore the relationship we have with others. We need to release this fear. How? Through the cultivation of our faith. Faith is founded on the thought that God is. When we see each other as a child of God, then we have the opportunity to release that false evidence appearing real. And we now have a practical way to heal and to move from fear to faith, from doubt to possibility. The evidence of our thinking is always present in our experience. So if fear shows up, it's an opportunity for us to acknowledge this energy, to acknowledge this emotion, and say, this is only an appearance, right? Because it's false evidence appearing real. This is only an appearance, and appearances can be changed. This way, we are empowered to take an active role in changing the quality of our lives. The cause of our fears is based on not knowing who we really are, our spiritual self. We have certain fears that have been put inside of us from childhood. And these fears have become a part of our subconscious mind. Some of the things we may have heard as we were growing up is certain feelings that made us feel insecure. You're not worthy. You're not good enough. You're not pretty enough. All those not enoughs, right? Those have been placed in our subconscious mind. Well, those are false beliefs. So now that I know that those are false beliefs, that I am worthy because I am a child of God, I am beautiful because the love of God exists within me. So I have to become aware of those moments when those negative thoughts crop up into my conscious mind that have resulted from my subconscious mind as it relates to those false beliefs. So in reality, fear allows us to have an alarm system, the alarm system that says, oh, this is a false belief that is showing up. And I'm choosing to counteract this energy, this false belief. And I am empowering myself to change this appearance to the knowingness that I am a child of God. The work begins with me to love myself. And as Reverend Elizabeth said last week, to forgive ourselves, to take this opportunity to free ourselves from fear and opening to love. Faith and fear, in the sense, is really the same energy. The key becomes how we're using that energy, how we're using that emotion. Are we using the energy of love, the energy of the universe? Are we using the power of our thought to reinforce that emotion, that energy of the divine? So fear is an alarm system that allows us to know that there is an appearance that is showing up. and I have the power to transcend it. Okay, I got something I want you to think about, and it's going to create a not so nice visual. How many of you have ever had a zit? Right? You had a zit, right? I've had a zit. So this is kind of gross, but I want you to think about this zit. The zit represents fear, right? Do you like having a zit? No, don't like having a zit, especially when the zit shows up on your nose, right here, where everybody can see it, right? So fear is like this zit that shows up on our nose every now and then. Now then, sometimes you get a zit and it doesn't show up. It's kind of hidden underneath the skin, but you know it's there, you know? So that's what fear is like. Fear is like that zit. So sometimes we feel it and it's like, oh, I feel it coming. I feel it coming. So what do? We put alcohol on it. At least that's what I do. I don't know if y'all do that, but I put alcohol. Whenever I feel the zit coming, and then if it comes here, what do? I gotta bust it, and then I put alcohol on it, right? So the fear buster is our faith. So just like that zit that shows up, when I put alcohol, I squeeze it with my faith and put alcohol on it, pop, it's gone, right? So the same idea for when we think about that fear showing up, it's an opportunity for us to transform it. It is an opportunity for us to bust it open and then replace it, stroke it with the faith, stroke it with the thoughts of love, with the thoughts of peace, standing right in the truth of our being, using the ultimate energy, the divine energy, to squeeze that fear on out of here. So the alcohol allows us to clean up that fear, clean up that zit, and focus on our faith. That's the fear buster. Faith and focus. Not the alcohol that we drink, y'all. Not that alcohol. I'm talking about the rubbing alcohol, you know, that cleans it all out, right? Okay, so that's the alcohol we're talking about. So that alcohol allows us, the faith allows us to have a tool, a practical tool to deal with when fear shows up. Now, this whole idea of faith, there's many dimensions, just like there's many dimensions to us, there's many dimensions to faith. There's the faith, which is the belief that we can hold in our subconscious mind, those false beliefs, and replace them with the beliefs of the divine, knowing that I am love, joy, peace, and happiness. Then there's faith, the knowledge that we hold in the conscious mind with our thoughts. Then there's the faith, the vision, our spiritual life that we want to see, our third eye. And faith, which is trust. Faith, which is our heart's intention to see and experience something different. We must activate all aspects of our faith to dispel fear. We must activate, look at what is in our subconscious, and bring it forth to the conscious mind and allow the thoughts to focus on the thoughts of love, of joy, of peace, to dispel that fear. Now, we all know the definition of faith that has been utilized in the Bible, that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So once again, we're talking about all aspects of the faith, the heart's desire, the making sure that we're planting in our conscious mind those ideas, those experiences that we want to have. So, I had to come up with an acronym. I know y'all all just waiting. Okay, Detra, what's the acronym for faith? The acronym for faith is fully allowing infinite truth to happen. Now, fully allowing infinite truth to happen, in order for that to be the case, that means I have to allow. That means that I have to fully surrender to faith. Fully. Now that fully is key. I have to let go of my idea, my expectations, and claim the highest and best for all. Because allowing says I permit infinite truth. Fully allowing means I have to allow God, because God is the creator of the universe, can see all things. So fully allowing means I give up my own. I see the vision of love, the vision of joy, the vision of peace. But I am fully allowing the infinite truth to show up for the highest and best to happen. So when we talk about fully allowing, sometimes we don't always see it ourselves. But in hindsight, we can see that the highest and best did happen. But I am allowing, I am permitting the infinite truth, the divine within me, the absolute energy that is love, joy, peace, and abundance. I'm allowing that energy, that emotion to sink into my subconscious so that it overflows into my conscious, so that I am emoting the energy in motion that is going through me is truly the essence of the divine love, the divine joy, the divine peace. That's energy in motion that allows me to experience all that God is. I desire to express in the powerful way divine love. Unfortunately, some people have a love for power versus allowing the power of love to transcend what happens. Because if we look at it earlier, we talked about the energy of fear and the energy of love are the same, but we get to choose from which place we want to operate from. So we acknowledge and we pray for our governments to operate from a place of power, of love, transcending in the consciousness of the people and the countries, and not allow the love of power to overtake them. So that is the truth that we want to know for Ukraine. That is the emotion, the divine love, because everything else is just about ego. Everybody knows what the acronym for ego is, right? Edging God out. We want to allow God in to fully experience the infinite truth in order for that to happen. So we have to bust that zip, that fear, right? We have to let go of it and allow the power and the presence of God to permeate all that is. So in order to release that power, that presence, I want you just to take a breath with me and say, wherever I am, there is God. Allow the light of God to be within me. I allow the light of God to be within me. So right here in this moment, fear, poof, it's gone. I accept the infinite truth and give ourselves permission to eliminate ego, edging God out, and the opportunity to allow faith to be, fully allowing infinite truth to happen. We continue to feed that infinite truth each and every day, and we give it more power. Love has the power to transform our fears. When we learn to love ourselves, be gentle with ourselves, take care of ourselves, be our own first love, we transform ourselves. Our first step when we feel that emotion is to recognize it, identify the fear, and know that I have the option to choose love. I choose love. Let us choose to live calmly and in balance, in a state of gratitude, loving everything and everyone, seeing the child of God in each and every one. Let us contribute to making our world better, knowing that as we change within ourselves, we see the change that is being made in others. If we are better, then we see the good and the better in everyone. We see that we have the ability to make a difference. Our children will be better. Our family will be better. And therefore, our world will be better. It is the ripple of love going out into the world. And so it is.